My name is Gene Hart-Smith. My entry is me and Casper.
Hey Caspar.
He used to nap in the daytime, so I could paint a little while then, but he doesn't do that anymore. So.
And the portrait is basically, it must be quite recent because it looks just like he is
Yeah,
now.
he dropped his nap about 6 months ago, so it was finished just before that happened.
And
yeah.
have you been portrait painting for a long time?
Not really. Couple of years. Drawing was what I did before that, so I like painting a lot more. Getting the drawing on is harder work than the actual painting. The painting's really the fun bit for me, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love throwing paint on the canvas.
Oh, well, the painting looks amazing. Good luck with it.
All right, thanks for having us here.
Bye, Caspar. Good luck.
I've got this one, I'm going to put it in the Sulman and one in the Wynne. This painting, it signifies a day out at Kakadu at Yellow Water. I used to live in Darwin, and the light and everything is just so different. And I used to, even though I like trees and rocks in the Sydney landscape, the water and the lotus lilies and the bird life is just glorious. So I wanted to explore that.
Can you tell me a bit about the other painting?
The other painting, this is my mother Patricia. Well, I love trees and rocks. They're actually my first favourite subject, and so it's just my local Sydney landscape. I live out near the Hawkesbury, and I see this landscape all the time, and I just love it.
Oh, do you ever play plein air?
I do, yes.
Yeah,
quite a lot smaller.
I've entered each of the 3 prizes, the Wynne, the Sulman and the Archibald. The Archibald is Lorraine O'Connelly, and it's a friend of mine who's also an artist. And then I've made another one for the Sulman, which is called One Rock, One World, One Plastic Planet. And then I've made one for the Australian landscape, and that one is The Last Australian Tree Beyond Blue. And there's 3 blue trees, so that's so each of the prizes got 3 panels.
Wow, and there's like a real environmental flavour to it.
Yes, I think it's really pertinent now these days. You know, we've got to say stuff now. We've got to get out there and say it. So that's why I thought I'd go in the prizes.
And this idea of having the earth, is that the earth wrapped in plastic?
Yeah, the first one I started painting, I painted a rock, and then I painted a configuration of plastic that looks like that rock, and so slowly the rock's morphing into the plastic. That's the idea of it. It's very pessimistic piece, but I think we need to shock ourselves into the new reality.
I'm Alejandra Sieder, an opera artist living in Sydney, and I'm living the Sulman piece today.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, it's related about the love in last year to 2020. I think we had a very complicated process around the world. The lack of people around us, the lack of family, and we had the time to realize that we don't need anything material at all. We only need love and self-esteem, and try to be connected, with others, to have support and to support others. So it's about that.
I do a lot of my work just driving around taking photos, and I was driving around town on a rainy night many years ago,
Yeah.
and got this photo.
Oh, so you've been thinking about this one for ages?
I would say probably 5 years.
It looks like there's a lot of palette knife work, is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's all I do these days.
Yeah.
So it's just palette knife and very heavy in this particular painting.
And would you work from dark to light?
Exactly. So background in first, and then just layers on top.
Is your work generally in landscape?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So cityscapes, a lot of Sydney work. A bit of country, but not a lot. Beaches is sort of where I do my thing.
So it's not always the night?
Not always. No, actually rarely at night. But this was something that just needed to be painted.
Hi, I'm Lark and I'm entering the Wynne Prize. It's about the bushfires last year and hope, I guess. And it's also a little bit about my mother and I. My mother's not very well, and the magpie and the sunshine kind of represent myself and my mother.
And have you entered the Wynne before?
No, I haven't. I'm not represented, I'm not with the gallery, so I just thought, competition is a great way of getting exposure for your work, and putting on exhibitions is a lot of work, depending on your networking abilities, not necessarily always a massive crowd. So competitions are great because you get exposure and you kind of come out of the darkness. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the painting you're entering today?
Yeah, I can. It's obviously based on Spring Frost
Yes.
by Elias Brunner.
I know, it's a much admired painting, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a bit of an icon.
It is.
And there are plenty of bushfire paintings around, but you still don't necessarily identify with them because they're usually in places that you don't know and don't have a connection with. So it occurred to me, what if we took some scene that people have a vested interest or have some kind of emotional investment in, and I thought, well, what if it was 2020 instead of 1919, and it was actually taking place today, because that would be probably one of the challenges that poor farmer would have to face with his farm and his cattle.
I'm originally from Argentina.
Can you tell me a little bit about the painting?
The style is based on op art, so I'm a big fan of it. But I have a lot of inspirations on like Julio Lepard and Carlos Cruz Diez, and I love the way they combine colors. And in this case, when I saw all these geometric shapes together, for me it was about friendship. Especially I think maybe because of the pandemic that everything has been so tough, family relationships, but I think friendship is such a key thing. I start always doodling and then I do some tests on watercolor paper and then I realize what it works, what doesn't. And then I find the right combination of colors, what I think it does create an effect. Oh, I think they look good together. And that's how I come with the final result.
Fantastic.